All right, welcome in. It's Monday morning. It's time for Total Bases. Jimmy in the chat says you guys have been killing it lately. Let's have another good week. That's what we're trying to do. I bounced back from an 0-3 Friday with a 4-0 weekend. I did ruin the parlay on Saturday. I apologize for that. TV and Brian both hit theirs. And the Reds just kind of like melted away. I thought they were going to get there with the +1.5. It was a close game. It was like 2-1, 3-2, and they just didn't get there. But good weekend for me on the client plays. We're back ahead in the parlay of the day, which we will have by the end of this show. Tokyo Brandon's got a 5%er, which he's going to tell you about in just a second. But I'm going to let Brian kick us off with the feature game today. Fox Sports 1, Milwaukee Brewers. I love this team. To me, they're going to be there at the end in some capacity in the National League. And they're going to host a team that I think has been a disappointment for a lot of people, including myself this year in the San Francisco Giants. But the question I want to ask you as you break this game down, what does the Brewers see in ex-Red Sox pitchers? Because they keep taking pitchers from the Red Sox organization and making them better. We had Quinn Priester last year. Kyle Harrison looks like a Cy Young Award candidate right now since he showed up in Milwaukee. And tonight's starter, Shane Drohan, also from the Red Sox organization, and his stuff has been really good this year. So another guy on the mound that you love for the visitors, and Landon Roop, talk to me about Giants Brewers.
Yeah, Giants were good to us yesterday. That was our top play. We went 2-0, and then we went 4-2 on Saturday. So I think we're on a 12-3 baseball run. So yeah, can't complain at all. And Roop is going for San Francisco. Drohan the lefty. We're looking at basically a 160 favorite for Milwaukee, 7.5. I've talked about this in the past where teams leave Colorado and it's a different environment because the balls are your off-speed pitches, your curveballs and things like that move a little bit more. So it throws them off a little bit. I would have liked to have come back with San Francisco here, but because of that, I won't. Don't know that much about Drohan, but what I've seen so far, he's looked really well. He looked really good. San Francisco's offense, as I expected, when you go to Colorado, it makes any team look good. It would make the Tigers look good at this point. But, they're out of there now. They're going against one of the best pitching staffs in baseball in Milwaukee. The line is about where I thought it would be. I thought we might find some value on San Francisco. I like Roop. I've said that before. We know more about him than what we do Drohan. But you got to have a pretty good reason to go against Milwaukee. Milwaukee is one of the best. They're the National League version of the Tampa Bay Rays, if you ask me. Very similar programs. They are very good at developing pitching, and they use just about everybody in the lineup. Whereas some teams they throw out their everyday lineup, and that's about it. I like the teams that use everybody, keeps everybody awake. And you never know when you're going to be called on if you're a pitch hitter or whatever. So I think you're more prepared on teams like that. So, yeah, I wanted to do San Francisco, not getting the line I like. So even though it's a small card today, I'll probably be passing on this one.
TV, let's get you in here. Tell the folks what they can find on the site from you tonight and talk to me about Brewers Giants.
I made a free play video for WagerTalk's YouTube channel, and I have a 5% play in MLB today. Number one profit in MLB the last 30 days. So liking it. This weekend kind of broke even. Had some bad beats. I did have the Trevor Hoffman meltdown game with the Blue Jays. But, yesterday I won a strikeout prop and an outs prop. So yesterday I think I went 3-1, 3-2. So, kind of treading water at this point, but still number one in the last 30 days. Regarding this game, the Giants are actually hitting quite well. What's that?
I was going to say I was muted, which I should have been because I shouldn't be talking over you. But you said Trevor Hoffman, he would have got it home for you. That was Jeff Hoffman that cost you. Trevor Hoffman coming in. Yeah, probably because we're talking about the Brewers. You maybe had Trevor in your mind, but I'll tell you right now, he wasn't going to. That dude wouldn't have blown that game for you. So. Shout out to Trevor Hoffman. We can't let him catch a stray on the show like that. But yeah, go ahead, Brewers Giants.
Yeah, I thought I just said Hoffman only, but I'll go back and listen to the replay. We'll see. I'm a little bit out of it because I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning and now it's 11 at night. So haven't had any sleep.
How's it feel?
Yeah. Brian knows how it feels. So Brian and I are old guys. Adam is still a young whippersnapper. So Giants are actually hitting better than the Brewers right now. I got Giants ranked 10 and I got the Brewers ranked 21. I like Raup in this matchup. He's got good numbers against the Brewers. And I got him ranked in the top 1/3 of major league pitchers. Drohan, don't know much about him, but I did take a look. He doesn't go deep into games, which means we'll probably see a healthy share of the bullpen today. I don't like San Francisco's bullpen. I got them ranked worse than 20 out of 30 in current form. I would take a shot on the Giants' first 5 money line, perhaps. What was it? Plus 130 or something? I don't think the Giants should be plus 130 here. Record-wise, yeah, the Brewers are a better team, but I think this lines up for San Francisco to maybe upset them at least in the first 5.
Yeah, so TB, you're not going to see Drohan really pitch super deep because he's been mostly a reliever the last couple years. So I thought last year at Worcester he did some of his best work out of the bullpen. He was again, he had a really good season at AAA last year for the Red Sox. So I was kind of surprised that they didn't find a way to keep him for another year because I really felt like he had a solid season, worked around an injury, but was very good for them last year. Now in Nashville to start this year, they had him starting games, but since he's been called up, it's been mostly out of the bullpen. That being said, he's been very good. Month of May, a 1.72 ERA, hitters hitting a $1.75 against him with a 0.83 whip. So that's really solid, but you're right. How deep does he go here? How much, maybe once through the order, maybe he gets to the 4th inning. Brian, I don't know. Who do we get behind him? Maybe Chad Patrick for like some bulk. That's going to be the interesting thing is what the Brewers are going to do there. If you're looking at this game and you say, okay, well, Drohan's only going to go maybe 3 innings and you like the matchup against Patrick, like that's what makes this game difficult for me because let's say it was Chad Patrick in bulk and he was the starter and I knew I was getting Landon Roop and the Giants. I think I'm going to take the Giants at that price. Brian, you said the price was in line. I kind of think there's some value on San Francisco here and on the number. I've been very, very high on the Brewers this year, so it's a tough one for me to, sort of lock in. But I see some value with the Giants.
Yeah, the concern I have is leaving Colorado and going because I follow that, and that hurts the offense. Maybe a correlated parlay if you like the Giants and the under, maybe get some extra juice out of it. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting games today in which I see one side on a game that has an advantage, but I also see the opposite team has an advantage somewhere else. So it's the first glance for myself, it's a tougher card.
I think if I was going to bet the Brewers in this one, I would definitely go first 5. See if you can get, Drohan this month has not gone. He had 4 1/3 of bulk relief against the Cubs. That's his longest outing of the month. So my guess is 3 or 4 innings. So I think if you like the Brewers, I feel like you're getting better value first 5 because his numbers have been really good. The piggyback guy in this position, in this situation, I don't think is going to be as strong of an arm as Drohan. So I think if it was Brewers for me, I'd be looking first 5. Giants, I would prefer the full game. I know that's like, we kicked off with the one that I probably had the least opinion about, but this is the one they're putting on national TV tonight, and that's how we've been starting the show is with the big national TV games. So, a good one to watch. I just don't know if I'll have much action in that one. But the goal of this show is to get you guys info and get you guys some picks. So we're going to move it along. I'll let TB. Vinny says he's already got your 5. He's already locked in on your 5% TB. Had a nice one on Friday. I was the only my 5%er on Friday suffered a terrible fate with the Orioles blowing a huge lead. Of course, they come back and win the last 2 days. But Brian got it done with a 5%er on Friday with the Padres, and TB got it done with a 5%er with the Rays. He's going for another one tonight. You should definitely grab that from him. Heading to the chat, let's go to this one. This is a good. That was talking about a game yesterday. We're gonna focus on games today. Okay, we can talk about this one. Let's go to Mark Lambert. Mark Lambert says the terrible Tigers on the road. Yeah, the Tigers, I felt like they were in good position to have some success this weekend. And they are just, it sort of feels like this season is done for them at this point. Yesterday, they have the 1-0 lead. I think it was Kiter Montero that was pitching well. The second they take him out, they give the lead away and they lose another close game. So, Tokyo Brandon, we talked about the Rays a second ago. You cashed with them for a 5%er on Friday. They are at home against the Tigers here. Looks like Ty Madden looked against maybe Griffin Jacks to start for the Rays. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, is Madden going to be a starter or an opener? Are they going to slip someone in, or is this going to be a bullpen game? Do you guys have any information?
He'll be a starter, I believe. They just
Okay.
called him back.
Yeah, he's been starting at Toledo. I think he's a normal starter here.
Okay. Don't have much on him. I mean, he's got a low ERA, but kind of an X factor for me. Jax has decent numbers against the Tigers, and the Rays are 21-6 at home. That's nothing to sneeze at. While the Tigers are 8-24 on the road. That's nothing. That's a lot to sneeze at. Have to like the Rays here, but -175. I don't know. Maybe a -1 might be due, but the Rays bullpen has been absolutely horrible. I like the Rays first 5 more than full game because actually the Tigers bullpen's performing a lot better than the Rays bullpen in current form, but the Tigers can't hit themselves out of wet paper sack right now. Maybe a Tigers team total under or Rays first 5 might be away. But unfortunately, I like to do the -1s in the full game, but I don't trust the Rays bullpen here. So wouldn't do a -1 for this one. Jax has a pretty high ball walk ratio, even though his stats are really good. So maybe that'll eventually catch him. I don't know. I think Tigers under might be a way to go here.
Brian, I kind of like Ty Madden. He's someone that I think, he's impressed me at the AAA level. I kind of always expected him to be decent at some point. Think he's got good stuff. I do. My gut tells me to take a shot here with the Tigers. I think the Rays are a very, very overvalued team. But the Tigers, they can't hit. They can't hit. That being said, Kerry Bonds back yesterday. Kerry Carpenter back in the lineup. I don't know when Glabar's coming back, but he did play at Toledo again yesterday. Yeah. So talk to me Tigers Rays. Talk me on or off the Tigers here.
Yeah, Torres, from what I understand, he'll play one more game in the minors, then they'll bring him up. So he'll be up this week. He's not going to help us today if you're looking for Detroit. But I'm with you. I kind of like the Tigers here. It's the pitching matchup is, to me, pretty even. And when you look at Tampa Bay, they're the luckiest team in baseball right now. They've been very good in these one-run games, being able to pull out these games, and they've got a great coaching staff. Don't get me wrong, but after a while, the lines maker has to make the line higher in order to get you to play the Detroits, the Colorados, the teams that are doing really, really lousy. And I think they're in that price range right here. You can get anywhere from 145 to 156 here. If I can get 155 or higher, I think I'm going to take Detroit here. From a starting pitching matchup, I think it's pretty even. I do like Griffin Jacks, but as Brandon pointed out, as a starter, his control isn't quite as good as it was. And right now, Tampa Bay overall, their hitting's okay. They're not killing anybody, but they're also finding ways to win, and that's what's going on. But if you take a look at their bullpen, Brian Baker's been awesome all season long. He's rated as number 4 pitcher in baseball coming out of that bullpen. He's pitched 2 of the last 3 days. And Kevin Kelly has been pretty good. He's 22nd on the season overall, and he's pitched 2 of the last 3 days. So they've got 2 guys they had to call up from the minors, in Trevor Martin and Cam Boozer. It would not surprise me at all to see either one or both getting into this game here today. So I'm not in love with the pitching situation for Tampa. And you mentioned Detroit. Detroit is starting to get some guys back. No, they have not hit well at all, no doubt about it. But if you take a look at what they've done, certain players are starting to come around. They've still got some guys that have not hit, but their situation, they're going to be missing Drew Anderson. He's pitched 2 of the last 3 days, but Finnegan's available. Obviously, their closer is Kenley Jansen still out, so that's a concern. But hey, when you're with Detroit and they haven't been winning many games, they haven't had to use their best arms very often. But when I take a look at their lineup looks now, granted they haven't hit well, but if you go down the entire lineup, it's just as good as Tampa Bay's is, and we're able to get them at this number. I kind of like Detroit today. Out of as I said, out of a card that right now at least I don't see anything jumping out at me. I think there may be some value here on Detroit.
Brian, do you think, and we can go to TB for a quick, I'm curious to see what both of you think. Do you think Detroit is a bad team, or do you just think they've played badly to this point?
No, they're a very unlucky team. In fact, let me check it out here on my deserve to win meter. They're the most unlucky team in Major League Baseball. And if you look at them on the season, they've been outscored by 39 runs, which is 1 run more than the Baltimore Orioles and 7 runs more than the Cincinnati Reds, who are a $2 favorite today. Now, obviously, the starting pitcher makes a difference, but in this division where nobody is blowing anybody away, Cleveland's still got a lot of problems, even though they're 7 games over 500. They can still come back and give it a nice run here. They have not played well on the road. That's been their problem. They're 8-24 on the road, 14-14 at home. But if you take a look at what they have done, they have found ways to lose, and that's the problem you have. You have a team that's finding ways to lose going against a team that finds ways to win. So you've got to have a pretty good number, and I think they have that number here. It would not surprise me if you were to bet on the Tigers the rest of the year. You do pretty well, especially they're getting their ace back pretty soon, or he's going to be traded. And if he is traded, hey, that means the rest of the team gets better. So right now, Scooble's not helping them at all. Eventually, they're either going to get Scooble back or they're going to get really good players for Scooble. So that's a team, as the season progresses, I think we're going to see a lot of value on.
Tokyo Brandon, the Tigers had this monster first half last year, and then they played the second half like they're playing the first half of this year. Any way that they come back with a second half similar to last year's first half when they get healthy, in your opinion?
Well, they could. I think they're unlucky as well. They got a lot of injuries. They lost their closer. Now Scooble's out. Now, Casey Mize. Last year they had Verlander. Did they have Verlander last year? They had, they've got a lot of injuries. I think that's part of it. And, just it's a buzzkill, when the whole team collectively has a buzzkill, everyone just dips down in motivation. And it's kind of what's happening with them. They're not hitting. Their bullpen's not pitching well. They lost their closer. Like, it seems like everything's going wrong. So yeah, All-Star break is a good time to hit the reset button. Although the All-Star break is a little ways away, but, yeah, I think they can hit the reset button. I don't know if they're going to win the division or anything like that, but they could get a wild card perhaps if they can tread water for a while.
Go ahead, Brian.
Here is their starting pitchers on the injury list right now: Jackson Jobe, Casey Mize, Reese Olson, Tarek Skubal, Justin Verlander. That is a major league rotation, and they're all on the injury list right now. Yep. Obviously, Verlander's at the end of his career. Skubal right now is they'll probably be traded. But I really liked Reese Olson coming into the season, but he can't stay healthy. Casey Mize and Jackson Jobe are 2 guys that were on the upside, and they've just brought up Ty Madden. So, I think their future's better, and to go along with what they've got right now, I think is definitely going to help them the second half of the season. And Valdez has not pitched that great. Montero yesterday pitched really well. I mean, he's been very good. Flaherty's been terrible. Troy Melton's a guy I really like. He didn't look good in his first start back, but they've got a lot of talent from the starting pitcher standpoint, and eventually they're going to be back. And teams like that, the Braves and some of these other teams that have all these injuries in the starting pitchers, those are teams that are going to be fresh going down the stretch.
Yep.
Yeah, we spent longer on this one, so we got to pay it off. I'm using the Tigers in the parlay. Brian, what can I get for Tigers plus 1.5? That's the way I would love to go here. And if this gets a little cheaper, I'll do it for clients. But what is the plus 1.5 right now?
All right, now you can get them plus 1.5 anywhere from 135 to 145. Basically, a 142 is probably about the average out there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll call it minus 140 for the show. If this dips down to widely available Tigers plus 1.5, minus like 135 or better, I'm probably just going to add it to the client card. One thing I'll add to this before we move on, Ty Madden was also hurt. Like he missed all of last year. I think he had shoulder surgery or like a shoulder injury. So his April was really more of a rehab type stint down in Toledo. I'm not really as concerned with the numbers from the rehab. Since he got called back up to start May, 2.30 ERA, 190 batting average against, a 1.02 whip. That's in 3 appearances for the Tigers and 1 appearance down at Toledo in the month of May. So he's a guy that I think is probably a play on type guy. And I'm with you. Brian, you made a great point with the lucky factor. I think the Tigers, it's June 1st. Calendar turns to June. It's going to be a good month for the Tigers. Carey, Carpenter back in the lineup matters. Gleyber coming back later in the week matters. I like the Tigers. So that will be my leg of the parlay. Sorry for going longer on that one, but I may have just given away a client play on the show as well. I got we started getting going on it. I'm like, yeah, this has to be it. So let's go back to you, Tokyo Brandon. There's a lot of Dodgers chatter in the chat right now. So let's go to that game. The Dodgers I know they're playing the Diamondbacks tonight. Is this game in LA or where?
Arizona.
It's in Arizona. Okay, so it's heading out to the desert. Chase Field, TB, your former home for Dodgers Diamondbacks. Talk to me about this one. Dodgers, D-backs. It looks like Sheehan, Erod. How are you seeing it?
It's always my home. It will be my home forever, Phoenix, Arizona.
I meant your former organization, but sorry. Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a good, the Diamondbacks really let me down. I had their team total the other day and they got shut out. And then yesterday they scored, very little. I expected more from this lineup going into the weekend, and they kind of disappointed me. So taking a look at how these pitchers pitch against the team they're facing, Rodriguez has a 281 average against an 801 OPS against these Dodgers, while Sheehan does not have a large enough sample size to really make any judgment. So let's see. On my Twitter X, I've already put out my outs projections and my strikeout projections. And my outs projection for Rodriguez is 17 outs, which is 5 2/3 innings. I think he can get there. And Sheehan, I got him getting 15 outs, which is 5 innings. Yeah, I think he can get there as well. So I guess I would look for props in this one because I don't really trust the Dodgers after yesterday. I think it's, I don't know. I can't read either one of these teams. So I would just base it on my pitchers versus batters in this one. Obviously, the Dodgers are the better team. The Diamondbacks have a really good lineup. I got them ranked 6th in MLB, but they've just let me down for 2 days in a row. And, I take that a little personally. So I'm probably not going to bet the Diamondbacks to be scoring here and watch. They're going to blow up for 12 runs. But, the Dodgers are the better team. They got their bullpens in pretty decent shape as long as they don't put Tanner Scott out there. And, I Dodgers would have to be the way to go, but the line is always favored towards the Dodgers. So I don't like them as much as the line likes them in this game. So I would look for a player prop in outs or strikeouts, something like that.
Rolo 1376 says, what's the price for the Diamondbacks plus 1.5? Before I came on the show, it was like minus 125. Got to be honest. Thought that's kind of what I was gravitating toward, was maybe taking the extra run with the Diamondbacks. Brian, I was quite surprised that Arizona came away empty-handed from that Mariners series. The Mariners had swept the A's. I felt like they were vulnerable against the D-backs. It was a game, I believe we talked about it on Friday. Arizona having a little value. They did cover the plus 1.5 in the game that we spoke about. Were you surprised that they didn't get a single win over the weekend? And what do you take from that into this series with Arizona?
I really don't get too surprised by any single series. You're going to have your ups and downs all season long. The only time I ever get surprised is a team like Colorado goes on the road and would win against a pretty good team. That's somewhat of a surprise because we've seen enough of Colorado struggling on the road. But Arizona, this is one of those rivalries that's one-sided. Arizona knows that the Dodgers are the team they got to beat in the division every year. And they get up for these games. And we've talked about Rodriguez in the past getting up for games that are important to him. We saw that going back to the tournament before the season. And as much as I like Emmett Sheehan, Rodriguez has been the better pitcher out of the two on the season. So you've got to give Arizona some sort of credit for that. TB mentioned Scott for the Dodgers. He's pitched for the last 3 days. He may not pitch in this one. They have plenty of other guys that they can pitch, but keep in mind that Teoscar Hernandez is out of the lineup. Now, he's not having a great season right now, but he's a lot better than Call. So that's a drop out of one of their key positions. So I kind of like Arizona here. You had mentioned questioning the +1.5. I think it's about 120, 125 at this point. But the current number is about the Dodgers are about anywhere from 150 to 160, something in that range. Total on this is 9, slightly to the under. I'm somewhat interested in Arizona, trying to look for a way to play them. Let me get a quick look here at the first 5, see if that helps us at all. You're getting about 125, 120 to 125 if you're playing them for the first 5. You can get 135 to 140 for the full game. And I'm not really sure this Dodgers bullpen, the way it's constructed right now, is that much better than Arizona. So maybe the full game is something that we can have a look at here. You can catch 140 out there right now, 137, something like that. So somewhat interested in Arizona. Don't know if I'll get there with them. But, Arizona's a better team that they'd shown. They're upset with their play in the Dodgers, as we've talked about in the past. They know they're going to the playoffs. Not every game means as much. And if you take a look at the last 2 weeks, Sheehan's been their worst starting pitcher. I like him, and he's going to be good in this game. I'm sure he is. But if you're looking for any type of value, I think it's with the Arizona side here.
Steve Duke says, by my numbers, if you had bet the Dodgers money line $100 a play from game 1 until now, you're at about minus $50. That sounds accurate. That sounds about right. Yeah. That you'd be roughly breaking even if you're just playing Dodgers money line. Like Tokyo Brandon said, every day they're going to be overvalued in the market. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to lose. It just means you're paying a tax on them pretty much every single day. I think you're paying a tax on them here. I actually really do like that +1.5 bet in the -120 to -125 range. Brian, you made a great point. Everyone in this division sees the Dodgers as their rival. The Dodgers right now probably see the Padres and then maybe the Giants from a historical standpoint, the Padres, because those have been the best 2 teams lately. I don't think the Dodgers care about the D-backs the way like the D-backs fan base and like their like whatever cares about the Dodgers. So I would say that this game maybe has a little bit more juice for the Diamondbacks. And then when you compare the pitching, Eduardo Rodriguez, listen, he's one of these veteran dudes that knows how to pitch. They keep coming up on this show, and they're coming back into favor for me a little bit more. They don't really give up a ton of hard hit. Their stuff doesn't jump off the page. Not great stuff. Really not going to go out there and blow it by guys. And they are prone to the crooked number every once in a while. But he's kind of the guy that's he's a little bit unflappable. He's kind of the guy I want facing the Dodgers. I don't think he's going to be intimidated. He's going to go out, execute his pitches, and he's probably going to keep Arizona in this game. So I like that Diamondbacks +1.5. That's on the short list for me today. All right, back to you, Brian. This one's interesting. Mark Lambert says, got to talk Texas, St. Louis, Cardinals, Rangers. Where are the boys at on this? Well, let's see what Brian says first. Kick us off, Rangers, Cardinals.
All right, we've got DeGrom against McGreevy. And DeGrom's about a 120 to 125 favorite here, total of about 7.5, slightly to the under. St. Louis played the Cubs yesterday, big rivalry game. That was the late game, and they got that victory. That's a negative for St. Louis. That said, if you take a look at the home away numbers for Jacob DeGrom this year, he's been great at home in what is, and we've talked about this many times, maybe along with the Met Stadium, 2 of the best pitchers parks in baseball. And when he's gone on the road, he's got a 6-run ERA. Granted, small sample size, 30 innings, but still, you've got to base your plays on something. And so, needless to say, he has not pitched nearly as well on the road as he has at home. I don't trust this Texas offense. I don't think they're a very good offense. They're worse at home, but even when they go out on the road, they're just not hitting very well. McGreevy is he's very much like Abbott for Cincinnati to me. You take a look at his base stats and you go, I don't know, but his numbers are always good. He's as I said before, he's like a veteran pitcher in a young man's body. So I kind of like St. Louis here. You're getting him at home. I wish they'd have played it earlier yesterday so they'd had a little bit more time to come back. But hey, you just beat the Cubs. You beat them pretty handily, and you did it with really good pitching. So that's the side I would prefer here. Let me just take a quick look here at the bullpens. The Texas bullpen, Jacob Latz has been by far their best arm in the bullpen as of late. The rest of the guys have struggled. He pitched yesterday, but he only threw 8 pitches. The previous 4 games, they didn't use him. So that's a good thing at the end if they've got a lead. But take a quick look at St. Louis here, their bullpen. Riley O'Brien, Jojo Romero, George Soriano, Ryan Stanek, none of them have pitched the last 2 days. So they've got all their best guys available in this game. And if you take a look at what McGreevy has done, he has struggled a little bit the last 2 weeks, but on the season, he's ranked as the 64th best pitcher. So you're getting him off of a couple of bad starts. And I think, a lot of people are thinking the regression is probably hitting. I don't know. Maybe it has, but I'd be willing to take St. Louis here and get them at plus money at home. They've been very good at home so far this year. In fact, we can take a look at St. Louis. They are 15-14 at home, 16-12 on the road. Texas is only 13-18 on the road. So St. Louis has been very consistent. Yeah, if I'm playing the home team here.
TB, jump in here. Cardinals, Rangers. Couple people asking for totals opinions on this one. Do you have a total opinion on Cardinals, Rangers?
Yeah, I think an over might be a good idea. Like Brian mentioned, DeGrom's numbers are not good on the road, and he hasn't looked. I've backed him in one of his last 2 starts, and he hasn't looked himself. Like he was this dominating guy, and he just doesn't look like that anymore. He's given up 12 earned in his last 3 starts, and he's even worse on the road. McGreevy, again, hard to read, but he's given up 9 earned in his last 3 starts. The only thing is, neither lineup's really hitting the ball well. Brian said he doesn't like the way Texas is hitting. I don't like the way St. Louis is hitting even more. Got him ranked 28 out of 30 teams. But I think the books, DeGrom is one of those pitchers that the books always misprice or give too much credit to. And I think we can take advantage of that today by taking a St. Louis team total over or a game total over here, because the books always, they treat DeGrom like he's Paul Skeens, and he's not. I mean, he is a good pitcher. I mean, his command and control is one of the best in the game. He's got a 16% walk rate. He only walks 16% of the guys he strikes out, which is an amazing rate. But I think the books give him too much credit. So maybe a Cardinals team total over or a game total over might be a lean for me in this one.
I can't disagree with that. I'm definitely leaning toward the over in some capacity as well. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Mark Lambert. I know he's in the chat. So someone brought up McGreevy to me, and we tweeted back and forth about it the other day. And this is this right here is a perfect example of how fluid the market is, how ever-changing things are. Toward the end of last season, I talked about McGreevy being a guy that I was high on going into 2026. I thought he could potentially break out going into 2026. He has done that to this point. Relative to where he was at last year, I think it's safe to say he has been a breakout so far this year. We're now 11 starts into his 2026 season. He's got a 2.98 ERA, a 1.09 WHIP. That's very, very good through 11 starts. That being said, he's now starting to get priced like that. And so this is sort of where I get off the ride. Like, this is where I'm like, I'm kind of ready to go the other way with McGreevy. The underlying stuff is tough to ignore with him, and it's gonna catch up with him at some point. Expected ERA is 5.62. Expected batting average is 290. He only really throws 90, 91 miles an hour. So when you got a guy that throws 90, 91, the second that command isn't pinpoint, they're going to get hit. Fortunately for McGreevy, his command has been really, really good this year, but he's starting to get barreled up. That barrel rate starts to go up. You know, suddenly, like, it's what I'm saying is I think it's coming for him. I think there's some crooked numbers in his future probably. And TB, if he gives up a crooked number here, I think your over is good. I think first 5 over could be a look. Brian, I'm going to let you jump back in here. I don't know if I'm ready to take the Rangers off of kind of them having this great weekend, but that's sort of how I'm seeing this game. Go ahead.
This is one of the reasons why I love doing this show with you guys, because somebody will say something and something will pop in my mind. TB talked about the Cardinals not hitting very well right now. Go back the last 6 games. 4 of those 6 games, they scored 1 or 0. Now, granted, they played the Brewers and the Cubs, 2 of the best pitching staffs in baseball. So that kind of lessens my thought process here on playing St. Louis a little bit. But yeah, to me, I still like St. Louis here, but a little bit less than I did before because they are struggling. But hey, a lot of teams are going to struggle against the Brewers and the Cubs pitching staffs.
True.
Brian, I'll stay on you. Do you have a game you want to throw out there that maybe you're looking at for the parlay that we can talk about here?
Yeah, there's a few.
You can defer to TB and let him go first. You do have that option. You can let TB throw a game out there.
TB give his, and then if it's not one that I have, I'll switch to the other one.
All right, TB, give us a game.
And by the way, everyone, get a double play. You can get 2 of us 3 for 3 days. Huge discount. And if you only like one of us, you can get one of us for 3 days, 30% off. I believe that deal is still valid, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Triple Play. So lots of good deals.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, the triple play package is still up. That's any 2 people that you see on the screen. Tokyo Brandon's got a 5%er. I will absolutely have at least a 4%er today. I've already got a couple options that I'm looking at, and it works for any of the 2 or the 3 of us. So myself and TB and Brian and myself. I think the other specials have expired. They are coming out with some new stuff for June, but the double play is still very much active on our page. But yeah, go ahead, TB.
Okay. And so grab that. That would be wonderful. So the game I'm going to go to for this is also subscribe to WagerTalk YouTube channel if you haven't already. They're on the precipice of 250,000 subscribers. So help us out and let's get that. I'm going to go to the Seattle Mets game. We got Herbie Hancock going against an opener, I think, for the Mets. This might be Manoah, someone opening for Manoah, I believe. I'm not sure.
It's going to be a bullpen game for the Mets.
Is it going to be a bullpen game? Okay, so based on that, give me the Mariners on the money line. I actually mentioned this in my free play video on WagerTalk's YouTube channel. Hancock's been great. I mean, he's got great command and control as well. A 26% walk rate. He's only walking 26% of the guys he strikes out. It's a great number. Bullpens, they're both very mediocre, right around 15 out of 30, according to my numbers. And Seattle's hitting number 7, and the Mets are hitting 18. So give me Seattle with those couple of advantages there. Numbers a little steep. 143 is not bad. Give me Seattle. I like them on the money line for my parlay league.
Brian, receipt time here.
I said Herbie Hancock on purpose. That was not a mistake.
Yes.
Great musician, by the way, if you don't know who that is. Heck of a musician. Hey, Emerson Hancock, heck of a pitcher too. That's not a terrible comparison. Tokyo Brandon, I think we're going to probably see like an Austin Warren opener followed by Sean Manaea or something of that nature.
Yeah,
receipts time. Listen, I come on here and I call back when I was wrong about something. So I'm going to flex when I was correct about something. And last week on this show on Monday, I said it is time to buy on the Mariners. Right now, on Monday, it's time to buy the Mariners. They've won every game since I brought that up. 6-0 last week. They sweep the A's. They sweep the D-backs. I'm kind of with you, TB. I don't see why they wouldn't win again here. This game, in my opinion, also sets up nicely for them. Brian, your opinion on Mariners Mets. Do you see it the same way?
I lean that way. I will say that whoever has the lead in the ninth inning, they always say that the game's not over. The game's not over between these two, as Williams and the Seattle closer had really struggled, Munoz. So don't turn off your TV if you think you got a winner in this one. But I'm in agreement. And I was going to say, is there anybody out there under the age of 50 that knows who Herbie Hancock is? But if Trigg knew him, he's not normally the hard rock guy that we talk about, but he did have a hit back in the 70s or maybe the 80s. I don't know. That's
he was an instrumental too. There was no singing.
Yeah, very, very good musician. Seattle, I think is a pretty good bargain at this price. I was expecting this line to be 150, and you can get anywhere. I see it at anywhere from 133 to 140, 143. So with the current situation, I think Seattle's a pretty good bet here. Have you finished your thoughts on this game, Trig? Should I go into mine now?
Just give me the market price right now that we can use for the parlay for the Mariners,
okay.
And then we'll go to your game. Yep.
I would say right now it's about a 136.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I was seeing, like something 136, 137. We'll go with 136. I think that's I think that's fair. Go ahead. Let's close this out, Brian. What game are you going to look at for the parlay here?
Well, there is somebody put it in the chat the other day that he didn't like underdogs in the parlays. Well, too bad.
It was the day. It was the day that I used Angels plus 110, and they won by 7 runs. Just again, receipts.
This one's a little bit bigger underdog, but I think it's a good bet. Chicago White Sox are playing at Minnesota. Sandlin, they just called him up. Talented rookie. He looked really good his first start, and I think I like him. I like a lot of these guys that the White Sox have in the minor leagues that they've been bringing up. I like this whole team, and they're playing some really good ball. They just swept their last series. A young team gaining confidence, and they're doing it on the road too, going against Minnesota. Who's the better team in this game? If you were to take, regardless of starting pitcher, who's the better team? The Chicago White Sox or the Minnesota Twins? I think we'd all agree Chicago White Sox are the better team. Joe Ryan is pitching for Minnesota. That's the only reason they're favored by the 155, 160 range they're in right now. Joe Ryan is a good pitcher. He's a very good pitcher. In fact, he's probably the most underrated pitcher out of the top 20 or 30 in Major League Baseball this year. But he's still playing for the Minnesota Twins. I don't understand why Minnesota is a 155, 165 favorite here. The White Sox have proven they're the better team. I like Sandlin. Chicago is playing with confidence. They've been playing on the road. I like the underdog here. I know that nobody knows anything about Sandlin, and Joe Ryan is proven to be an excellent starter. I understand that. But I do not like this Minnesota offense, and I think Chicago's a better offense. And we talked about this the other day in a game that I had. Murakami is out, but they brought in the rookie. They brought that rookie, and I like him just as well. And he played first base yesterday for him. And so I like the Chicago White Sox team. They are still getting, they're not getting quite as much value as they were earlier in the season. But Minnesota does not deserve, I don't care. They got Cy Young on the mound today. There's no way I'm going to lay 160 range with the Minnesota Twins. I like the underdog, and we're getting anywhere from 135 to 145 here. I see a lot of 138s out there. Let's go 138. Chicago White Sox plus 138.
I very much agree with what Brian said. The only reason that the Twins are this big of a favorite is Joe Ryan on the mound. Like that is there's no question that's the case. When I made my notes this morning, Tokyo Brandon, I was like, oh wow, they're literally just gonna bump this 40 cents, 30 cents because Joe Ryan is pitching. My crazy take here is that in the short term, the White Sox are not losing that much Jacob Gonzalez to Murakami. Now, if Jacob Gonzalez comes up and he doesn't end up hitting, then they do. But like, I like this kid. So like, I think if we're talking very small sample, I don't think there's really been a drop off for the White Sox. They won every game this weekend. Wasn't a drop off for them there. So TB, you've been pro White Sox too of late. Do you? How are you seeing Twins White Sox? Do you like the visitors here?
Just let me throw in, I do have a 5% play up today, and on my Twitter X, I've already put out the strikeout and outs projections for the starters today. You're absolutely right. We've talked about this on shows in the past, but the bookmakers put a little too much emphasis on starting pitchers, and they also put too much emphasis on certain starting pitchers like Jacob deGrom and like Joe Ryan. If you look at Joe Ryan's stats against the White Sox batters, he's got a 50 at-bats against, a 300 average, and an 867 OPS, where I call 750 the Mendoza line. So these White Sox batters definitely can get to him. And the White Sox have the better bullpen, the better hitting. They don't have the better starter. So I don't think the White Sox should be underdogs, frankly. But I dug a little deeper into Joe Ryan's numbers, and there's one guy who does most of the damage, and that's Andrew Benintendi. He's 9 for 22 with a 409 average and a 116, 1162 OPS. And his hits, runs, RBIs prop over 1.5 is plus 110. I think that's a great bet. I put that out on my free play video. So Benintendi, hopefully he hits a little higher up in the average in the lineup. He's hitting like 7 or 8 right now, which I don't like. But he has hit this over hits, runs, RBIs in his last 2 games. So he's heating up a little bit. He's heating up that 600 OPS a little bit. So that's the bet I like in this one.
Yeah.
Free play for all you complainers.
Yeah. Like I think the Twins probably deserve to be a slight favorite, but not to this point. They're right. Like there's just way too much stock being put in to the starting pitcher. And you know what? I keep seeing, like, this is another guy that came from the Red Sox organization, struggled at AAA last year, and is now gone to a new place and is having success. Like, I just wonder if what the Red Sox are doing is a very, like, they're looking for a specific skill set, and then they're just discarding guys if they don't fit the, like, what they're trying to do. Because this is another one. He got bombed in Worcester last year, and he has been unhittable in Charlotte, and now he had a great debut first start for the White Sox. Brian, you're nodding. Like, am I crazy to think that that's a thing?
Yeah, the Red Sox, going back a couple of years ago, they decided any major leaguer can hit a fastball, so they wanted to get away from throwing fastballs. I agreed with it. But then they threw away half their guys that can throw fastballs. So, yeah, it's got to be something in the middle there for them. Hey, their big expensive starter, since they've got a guy opening for him, he's been great. So who knows? They're doing something right. Who knows? And they look really good against my Cleveland Guardians.
Pitching coaches are really vital to the coaching staff.
Yes.
More than hitting coaches, because pitchers are very mental dudes. And if you get a pitching coach that makes them feel comfortable, it does worlds of good. That's why Tampa Bay, Miami, they always have good pitching staffs, always. And when guys move from team to team, when guys move from team to team, Tampa Bay, Miami, they're always good there where they weren't good before. So pitching coaches are crucial.
I mean, this dude had a 7.61 ERA at Worcester last year with a 2.03 whip. Since showing up in AAA Charlotte this year, because I do think he had an injury at the beginning of the year, so he rehabbed a little bit in high A. He made four appearances at Charlotte, a 200 batting average against, a 125 whip. They called him up, and then his first start for the White Sox, I think he fired like 6 scoreless of like 1 hit ball. I mean, but that type of stuff's undervaluing these guys because people look and they're like, who's this guy? Oh, he got crushed last year in the minors. But it's like if the Red Sox are forcing you to throw things that you're just not comfortable doing, I mean, the list is getting longer. Quinn Priester, destroyed at Worcester. Great for the Brewers. Kyle Harrison, destroyed in Worcester. Going to throw his name into the Cy Young mix this year. That might be something I just start betting on. Every time the Red Sox get rid of a guy and then someone else grabs him, like that might be an angle. And that's what David Sandlin is. So we'll see. Hopefully it works out for Brian tonight. All right, we've reached the end of the show. The parlay first, TV's got a 5%er up. His 5%ers have what's the extended run at this point? Like 22-9 or something like that? Do you have it? I'm going off of memory. I feel like you said it a couple shows ago. I feel like you're like 22.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have it in front of you?
I'm plus 89 units in the last 365 days and a 69% win percentage.
69%.
Not bad. I would say that's fair.
Percentage doesn't mean as much in baseball, but still, hey, 89 that unit shit.
Listen, 89 units is 89 units. I don't care if you're robbing the bank. If you get 89 units, that's not, that's nothing to rob home or nothing to, scoff at right there.
32% return on investment in 365 days. Yeah.
So anyway, TB has a 5%er tonight. Check that out. Brian and I will both have plays, double play packages up, and the 3-teamer for today. Tigers plus 1.5 for me. I called it minus 140, but that's what we'll use for the parlay. But shop around. I do think you can see better than that out there. Tokyo Brandon is going to go with the Mariners minus 136. And then Brian's coming in and saying, let's jack these odds up in the parlay with the White Sox on the money line plus 138. So one more time, Tigers plus 1.5, minus 140. Mariners minus 136. White Sox plus 138, all full game sides for the parlays today. We've got plays up on the page. The double play special is live. Check that out, and we will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for more Total Bases. Have a great day, everybody.